Welcome to Dragon Tales. I'm Sandra Pelly, the Dragon Ally. In this podcast, we explore the magical world of dragons, from connecting with your dragon and building relationships to dragon energy. Each episode dives into the transformative power of dragons. Why dragons, you might ask? They are powerful allies in our spiritual journeys, helping us unlock our inner strength and transform our lives. Join me to explore topics like meeting your dragon, dragon eggs, and dragon light language, as well as personal stories from our community. Discover how your inner dragon can guide you. Ready to embrace your inner dragon? Subscribe to Dragon Tales, visit our website, follow us on social media, and join our community. Let's take flight together.
Hello, everybody. I want to go woohoo. It's so comical because I've noticed on every single Dragon Tales, and I think I say this every time too. I go woohoo. There's something that the dragons energetically want us to experience, and that's why I keep going woohoo when we come onto this beautiful platform with the dragons. So I have a magical guest there, Tamoah. Am I pronouncing your name right? First of all, I
Absolutely.
should have asked
Noah.
that first. Tamoah. Thank you. I appreciate that. So this beautiful soul, we connected through another platform, and as soon as she found out that I was all about dragons, and I found out she was all about dragons, we thought we need to get together and have a conversation. So we were just about to start to talk about dragons. I said, "Wait, I gotta hit the recording." So I want to tell you just a little bit about this beautiful soul first. Actually, you know what? I think the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask us to all close our eyes if you're capable. If you're driving, please be safe, pull over, or listen at another time. So just taking a few breaths. First breath I would like you to take is that beautiful breath of you as the human being. Recognizing that, acknowledging your human breath. The beautiful magic of our inner child, the little yous, that next breath is devoted to them. And this third big breath, or whatever this breath comes through as, is a true connection with your inner dragon energy. I invite you to take an inner dragon breath. As we come into this beautiful sacred space, acknowledging it with respect and honor the dragons that are around us and within us, the way showers, our compassionate spirit guides, all these beautiful dragons. Really kind of feel into the support, the love that they have for us and we have for them. Asking our mind, bodies, and souls and all aspects of ourselves to come together and be willing to receive and share in this beautiful space. Recognizing the power of the I am. I am open with no expectations, no limitations, and I am creating the outcome. And Tamoa, if you have a few words that you would love to share with this beautiful grounding, I invite you to share them out loud, please.
I just feel the embrace of the dragon energy, like the wings spread all around whomever is participating and listening or watching this call, like an embrace of somehow protection, but also of empowerment and coming into your personal center in your innate powerhouse.
And so it is. Thank you so much. Love that. So let me introduce this beautiful soul. Tamoah is a mother, a happy wife, a dog mom. Oh my goodness, you got a hard word in there for me. Ayurveda, is that how you pronounce it?
Ayurveda, exactly.
Thank you. A practitioner, a massage practitioner, spiritual consultant, and mentor. She's a kick-ass quantum healing facilitator, an energy medicine master, meditation circle leader, Akashic record medium, and healer, and natural medicine advocate. Originally born and raised in the Swiss Alps, Tamoah's extensive travels and studies led her to immerse herself in many native cultures, enriching her knowledge of natural healing. For 25 years, she ran a successful clinic in Switzerland where she combined her expertise in natural remedies with her holistic approach to health. In 2009, she received the title of Medicine Woman after she studied in Hawaii with her mentor, Nahai. For the last 30 years, she taught and worked with clients remotely and in one on one settings. Besides accumulating a vast amount of experience, her intuition and psychic abilities also play an important part in her work. Tamoah moved to Canada a few years ago, where she loves to enjoy Canada's vast nature with hubby and dog. Tamoah's professional evolution reflects her deepening understanding of holistic health. Initially focusing on physical well being, she expanded her practice to include emotional and mental health and ultimately energetic and spiritual healing. Wow, a full bag. I'm not just so sure that I actually like the word jack of all trades, but I really feel the power of all that you do in that, and very much I do the same thing. And there's a lot of energy that we're holding space with right now. Hi, how's it going?
All excited. And my dragon team, when you said in the beginning that you start this with the woohoo, I just felt, I mean, I invited all my team and they're just like, at the same time, woohoo, we're online. Look at us. We can talk about us. How cool is that? You cannot talk about them everywhere, can you? Right? I mean, so they're all excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, jack of all trade. That's the way how I thought as well. I'm like, oh my God. Like when the original website I once had back in Switzerland, and I always added to my bio, and I'm like, I think it's getting out of hand here. I gotta delete half of it. It's just like too much. Somebody who doesn't know me thinks, oh my God, she looked at everything and knows nothing, but she's adding it, right? But I've been on that path for 30 years, maybe even longer. And it was just the natural way how things evolved. First, I was fascinated by bodies, right? Helping people to heal whatever, so many backs came through the door into my clinic, mainly back pains, but many other things as well. Till I realized, hey, there is more than just the physical muscle and nerve and cell and so on. So I went on thinking, hey, I want to know more about psychology and emotions. Then I studied Ayurveda psychology. Ayurveda is an Indian healing tradition, and Ayurveda means the knowledge of life, right? So all in that knowledge, I mean, then we can start being philosophical. Where does life start? Where does it end? Is it conception? Is it birth? Is it way before that? It's so like, but all of that is in Ayurveda. So you're never finished being a student of Ayurveda, right? I mean, I started in the mid 90s from the last century. That's how old I am. Right? Sounds like I'm a dragon myself. How old am I? But when I look back at my bio, I'm like, okay, none of this was really planned. It just evolved on its own. And sometimes it looks like universe pushed me a little bit. Oh no, don't go that way, go that way. Because, and at the end, I'm like, oh wow. So I started with the body, then came emotions. Then I realized, okay, we are way more than body and emotions and mental level. We have energy. So I got into the energy field, right? And I've always been told you're a born medium, and I'm like, yeah, okay, now what am I going to do with this information, right? So I always thought that what I feel, perceive, that's normal, everybody does that, right? Till I realized, oh, okay, maybe it's not that normal. So I went into that field a bit more with actual, how shall I say it, actually wanting to learn more about it. Before it was just like, yeah, whatever comes along the way. And then I realized, oh my gosh, that's a whole new thing opening up. And I always say, no matter if a baby comes to seek my advice or my help or my guidance or whatever it is that they need, or a 135-year-old, it doesn't matter. It just flows through me intuitively. and of course through the guidance as well, what that human being needs right now. And this can be, I mean, right now is right now. It can be something else tomorrow, probably or something else a week ago, because we are right now is what we need right now, and we evolve constantly. So if I look back at what you have just been reading before, I'm like, whoa, that's me, seriously. I mean, of course, I know about it, but if I hear somebody else talking about it, I'm like, holy moly, wow, okay.
I love this. Yeah, I know. And yeah, we could go off on a whole tangent about the. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mute you while I speak because there's some feedback, and I'll unmute you when it's your turn, if you don't
Okay,
mind.
okay,
There's a lot of feedback on my end for some reason.
that's weird. Okay.
Yeah. So the magic of the bio is exactly what you were just saying. It's ever evolving, ever changing, and it only gives um, this blink, if you will. Like if we were to look at all of mankind's existence, it's like not even a blink is what your bio actually entails. And we're on here to talk a little bit more about dragons. So where and how did dragons come into your life?
So I don't know how many years back, I was participating in a workshop, and we were supposed to write a story where we had like three main characters: a princess or a lady, a knight or a warrior, and a dragon. And write it automatically. No, push your mind to side and let it just write. So I read this story at the end, and I'm like, oh my God, this dragon of mine is fabulous. It's a healer. Wow, who would have thought? Because, if you look at the dragon's history in Europe, for instance, that was a bad guy, was demonic. St. George had to kill the fucker, right? Sorry for the F word. But then you go to Asia, you go to China, it's the symbol of good fortune, of happiness. Then way back in their history, only the emperors were allowed to use the symbol of dragons anyway, not the normal common people. So I'm like, wow, all this difference, same planet, same creature, but a different approach to it. So my story revealed this dragon is fabulous. So I started meditating with it and saying what, and then also Diane Cooper, I think it's her name. She had this dragon card deck out, which I don't know how it got to me. I ended up having it, and so I draw my cards, and that was way back at the time before I was really into mediumship. So it was just, I was intrigued about all these messages, and when I went into meditation, how alive that was, the whole thing. So the more I developed my my connection to spirit, and then again, spirit can show itself in any form, right? Can be whatever it is. So I ended up having a whole team of dragons, and they all are very talented. Each one has a different ability, a different gift, or a different talent, or a different, how shall I say, whatever. When I do like distant healings, or when I guide my meditation circles, or whenever my team is needed, um, I can somehow ask what's needed, right? Or I can delegate. And I'm just observing in amazement what these dragons are capable to do. So I think that's in a nutshell how they came to me, and how I opened up myself to the possibility of working with them.
Wow. Diane Cooper. I caught that. One of her dragons has asked me to work specifically with it when I do any readings and Q&As and that sort of thing. So I definitely can relate to that. The story, your journey of writing out, doing an automatic writing and writing the story with the dragon, very, very powerful. I, for one, my dragons are kind of like, I guess I could say all over the place. I don't necessarily know what anyone specifically does other than this source dragon from Diane Cooper's um, deck of cards. For the most part, they're around me, and they've really expressed the interest to explore what inner dragon specifically means. So when we're talking in that manner, what dragon really came up? Who's your primary dragon? Or are you able to speak a little bit about your primary dragon?
Yeah, let me ask him if he's okay if I tell you guys his name. Right, he's shaking his hand, his head. All right, but he has a name. No, it's a she. Sorry, she. She has a name, and I was in the beginning working with her, thinking it's just her. Till once I've been told, well, I have a whole tribe with me. You only have to ask, right? Like if there is a case where my mind is limited because of, I mean, I studied many things, so sometimes I don't know if I can call it mistake, that I go into the thinking what does a person need instead of letting it flow. Spirit knows better anyway, right? So once she said, hey, I have a whole team of experts with me. You only have to ask, because they don't push themselves upon us, right? It's like, be precise in what you're asking, be precise in your expression. And the more precise the answer can be, or the result, or what it is that we're talking about. So she says, be precise in what's coming out of you. And it doesn't matter if it's a word or a thought. It matters what you're thinking, what you're saying. It has an impact. Now, if you catch yourself being in a negative spiral, thinking negatively about yourself or the planet or somebody, it's some sort of black magic. It sounds maybe brutal, right? But it has an impact, and it comes back to you. So for me, somehow it also seems like I am in a mystery teaching, in a mystery school, being taught by her and the team what I should pay attention to in my daily life, right?
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Yeah, I'm just finding this so relatable. I love the idea that our thoughts and what we're putting out there could be something like black magic. It's got this energy, and it has the ability to do whatever it does because of what our thoughts and words are. And I don't want people to get caught up on your terminology, the black magic. I just found that was very impactful for myself, to have a realization of um, the power of what our mindset can be by just giving it that label. Even like, that's just so wow. um, I love, first of all, I honor and respect your dragon and its desire to keep its name close to your heart and for itself, because people so frequently get caught up in, well, I need to know the name, and ideally most of us will never know the actual name of a dragon, because for starters they're so ancient to begin with. Secondly, it is a name that we're given that we feel comfortable with, that they've given us to call them. And their frequency and their language may not afford us the ability to be able to speak their name as well. So there's just so much that is coming up here, and I can see you chomping.
Well, am I unmuted? I think so. When I heard, or when, how shall I say that? When she gave me her name, it is a word that exists in several languages, but it depends how you pronounce it. It might have a different meaning. So I had to ask her, well, shall I pronounce it English, or is it French? Or is it French? And because I said it wrong, and she was not happy with that, and then she said, yeah, it's the French version to express my name. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I have so many wow moments. It's just like, sometimes I'm just like, this is like, I should write each time I'm in connection. I should write it down, and maybe eventually one day, have a book made out of it, because it's so much wisdom coming out of this. And I speak French, but I haven't spoken it in a while, and I'm like, pronouncing her name. It's just like the meaning of it. I just love it, and I'm like, we have our egos going into thinking and into pondering, and of course I could ask her, but I'm like, oh my god, it's French. Well, I would like to know more. What's her story? And eventually I might sit down with her, and but then it's always like feels to me like this is all coming from my ego. It's not necessary that I know this, right, to be able to work with this energy. But we're curious beings, especially we women. We want to know all the details, right? I might invite her for coffee one day and just hang out as girls and talk about more details about her. But till now, I thought it's not important, right? It's just a part of me that wants to know that. So I love her name, but I just ask, and I'm allowed to say that I have, she's like the female part, but I also work with unicorns, and that's the male part. And I always thought, this is interesting. For me, somehow I thought the dragon is the male energy and the unicorn is the female energy, right? And in my case, it's the opposite. So, and I like both of their names, and they both have their teams, right? And they both work together when I work, with energy and so on. And talking of energy, in energy medicine, there's so many different kind of ways, so many possibilities how to work with energy, right? Or frequency or vibration, or how you want to call it. And if you're a beginner in that thing, you have to step your grounds. You have to make your experiences and eventually, when you let it loose like a horse, when you let the reins loose and you feel secure on the horse, and you can gallop into the winds, right? When you have the security that you can say, okay, show me, what is my way? What is my path? I mean, I can follow anybody, all these people who teach a course or something. I can follow that path, or I can decide what is my path. Who is my real team, right? So when I am teaching, I always say, listen to what I'm saying, obviously, but you don't have to believe me anything. Go out and make your own experiences. And upon those experiences, you are a knower. You are not a believer, right? The moment you are in the knowing, you stepped way more into your own power than as long as you're a believer. The moment we only believe, we can be manipulated, right? Anybody can tell me anything as long as I believe it. Yeah, something is going to happen out of this. But the moment I know, because it's so in me, and I just know because I'm connected, and I observe and I see and I just know, right? Nobody can, what's a nice word to say? Nobody can
Screw with you.
yeah, okay. Right? Or nobody can pretend anything. I just know it's not the real deal, right? Nobody, there's so much and so many out there that say something that they are and they are actually not. They might even believe they are, but they are not, because they're connected to their own source. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Wow, I'm just feeling so much information is flowing here for the listeners. I'm really hoping that you guys actually take advantage of this and go back and have a listen again, as well as looking at Tamoah's website. We're not done here. That's not me winding up by any means, Tamoah. I'm just kind of coming into grips with all of this stuff. Like, I just feel like there's so much dragon energy here right now, and I invite everybody open up their hearts, and really embrace the dragon energy that is around you, and the dragon energy that's within you. There's something really magical happening right here in this space. And I want to say this space because it's not this moment or this time, it's in this space. So if you're here listening to this, or you've come across one of us in your travels, your dragon energy is pulling you very specifically for some reason. And there's an underlying message going on here, and I'm not sure what's coming in, but there's some energy coming in that feels very powerful. And I'm just kind of, there's something I want to share, Tamoah, if you're okay with me sharing this. And it's not about you specifically. It is your show, but I'm feeling, because of your relationship with dragons, I'm being asked to share this little piece. And I've mentioned this in passing in some other arenas, smaller groups, if you will, and what have you. But the dragon energy is, am I saying is? yes, is very galactic. It's very expansive, very wide, and there is a very um, it feels like there's a streamline of dragons, and I'm not even sure where I want to go with that. And I know I was going to say more, but I'm feeling like that I don't even know. Do you understand what I'm experiencing here? I'm struggling, but there's something.
Well, what
Exactly.
comes through me is clearly believe in yourself. Whoever is listening to might go through a struggle, maybe, yeah, I perceive things, but I don't know, being in this doubt. We all have these moments of doubt. And what I feel strongly coming through is believe in your intuition. And the intuition is the first split second that something pops up, not after 5 seconds that you have been pondering about something. That's not intuition, right? The first thing that comes up, no matter how weird it might be or look or sound, believe and trust in your intuition. The more you do that, the more you start believing in yourself and your abilities and your potential, right?
I love what you just said because, in essence, you gave me permission on one hand. It's so true. Believe. It's what Tamoah was saying about um, understanding the knowing, the belief. It's not that you believe in something, but the knowing that underlying energy. So I've witnessed this one dragon who to me is so absolutely massive. I've only ever witnessed its head. Its head is the size of planet Earth. Like it's just a massive, massive dragon. And um they come in all shapes and sizes. And what you said at the beginning about the Europeans and the dragons back then. That's one of the very first things that I realize is that uh, we are being asked in this space, in this time or era, if you will, to really start to have people recognize that dragons aren't all evil, etc. And if there's an evil connotation, it's usually a man-made version of something, not necessarily the dragons themselves.
And if you
Simone?
look back, the connection with the religion, right? I mean, the religion had to justify their cruelty, the criminal acts they did in the name of God to go and plunder and rape and steal and what they did throughout the planet. Um, so if you look into those stories, also out of the point of view of psychology, like if you think, okay, I read the story of St. George, for instance, you can read it up on Wikipedia, right? And all of these characters are a part of myself, somewhere in the subconscious. So I have a lady, I have what it's the saint, I have a dragon within me, right? So what does that symbolize for myself? Now, in that story, the dragon was vicious. He needed to have every year this village needed to feed it, and once they didn't have anything anymore, they started to sacrifice humans. Now, of course, that's not good, right? But now if you translate that into yourself, where am I sacrificing myself in my life, right? Instead of, yeah, exactly, Sandra, my self-love, where is it? Instead of looking after myself, I'm sacrificing myself out of traditional thoughts, out of the sake of the family, out of maybe I'm too lazy to change something in my life. I don't know. There's a whole list of reasons. And where am I, my own knight or saint? And where am I, my own lady? Blah, blah, blah. You can just go through the story and ask yourself, okay, in this vast subconscious of mine where everything is stored, a little bit like the Akashic records, right? But this is my very own story stored in my own subconscious, and that's the word. So I don't know consciously what's in there, but I can help it to come up into my consciousness with stories like this, with deciding I'm going to go and ponder. I'm going to gift myself today 10 minutes and go in and ponder, okay, what's that character speaking to me? What is that character speaking to me? And be really honest. That's the thing today. A lot of people are not honest to themselves. They're just pretending something that is not because of why ever. And then they feel miserable and don't see the connection and wonder, why am I feeling as I feel? I have nothing to complain about. I have a good job. I have a great family. I have blah, blah, blah. I have it all. And if you're honest to yourself and if you look in all these pillars, you realize, oh, I actually hate my job. Oh, if I'm honest, I don't love my partner anymore. Oh my God, that's a shocker. Oh, my kids kill my last nerve. Oh, I cannot be honest about that in society. Blah, blah, blah. Again, sorry, I'm saying a lot of blah, blah. But, our life has so many little chapters and big chapters to look into. And if you start being honest with every single one and start to live to your truth, a lot of people probably will realize how their life is going to shift. Now, I'm not going to say you go and divorce tomorrow. I'm not going to say you throw your kids out of the house. I'm not saying you quit your job. The first step is be honest, right? And then you look into, okay, so why don't I like my job? Why don't I love this guy anymore? Why do my kids kill my nerves? Well, maybe because you're stressed out and you have no patience. So it comes back to you, right? So at the end, we only can start working with ourselves from deep within. And it's always the questions, why is this? Why is that? And I like this game. I call it the game, the why game. When you realize, okay, I have this issue, why? Then you give an answer. Then again, you ask why. You give another answer. You ask why. And you realize I got to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And you ask why, till at the end, you're like, okay, I have no idea anymore what else I can answer. So probably there you came to the core. What's the real cause, right? Maybe you are now at something that happened when you were a little kid, right? So, okay, so it's a good idea to go in and look at that situation and transform it. So once that is transformed, a lot of other things that build up on it can just fall apart and fall away and not be an issue any longer, right?
You are such, wow, you are speaking my language, woman. It is comical. First of all, the imagery that you just gifted us with regards to recognizing all those parts of yourself, like the princess in yourself, or the king in yourself, or the knight in yourself, or the dragon in yourself, that is so very, very powerful. And then that why piece, the questions of why, and keeping asking that until you can't answer it anymore. Like you, all I can do is keep saying, wow, wow. It's so powerful. So
And,
powerful.
and it is empowering when you really go through that process. Now, this process might be shaking, might be eye-opening, might be shocking. Like, I mean, I'm divorced now twice, right? I'm in my third marriage, and that's the man of my dreams. And my first two marriages, especially the first one, when I produced unconsciously several accidents, right, that wreaked havoc with my body. And the day I finally sat down, now this is again ages ago, the day I finally sat down and I'm pondering, saying, universe, what the heck? What's going on? What am I not getting? And I really allowed myself this truth to come up. And that's why I know what I'm talking about. That moment of, oh, I don't love him. Oh my God, I don't love this man at all anymore. All the contrary, it pisses me off. Everything he does is, and I was just for the sake of the baby and la 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 la. And the moment I realized and I admitted and I allowed myself to say that or to think it out loud in me saying, oh, it's over. That was a shocking moment. I'm like, oh my God. And I thought that moment will never come or it not come in a long time. So this truth to myself, I had to live with that for a while to get adjusted to that thought, to allow myself to say, I really don't find love anymore for this man. That was brutal for me, right? And it took a while. I mean, not overnight I was going to go through with the divorce. I gave a chance. I thought, okay, what does it need to heal? What happened? And a lot of things happened that I got to that point, right? So what can we do? Of course, communication is key. Like we can communicate with everything, physical and non-physical, right? So communication is important. And then again, after I don't know how many months, I just realized, you know what? If I am really truthful to myself, I don't want anymore. I simply don't want. Now I knew, okay, so then we have to find a different solution if communicating and whatever we can do is not giving the result. Then the next step is that I am leaving, right? For the sake of myself and of my child, because having a miserable mother isn't helping any children, right? So that's why I'm saying it is a process. It's not just birthed overnight, but sit with it and see what is it doing to you and what is it really from the inner of your heart that wants to be expressed and that wants to be lived. And then you know what's your next step.
I want to kind of dive into this a little bit more because you've given a really beautiful example of life, of accidents, small minor accidents, big minor accidents, whatever the case is, and then the asking the questions and the realization. I had a very similar experience in my own life. Actually, for 16 years, I was having accidents. I am still married to the same man, and I thought life was all about, everybody else was the problem kind of thing. I mean, we all go through that as we go through our life, right? And the last couple accidents I had, it was like bang, 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 like 3 in a row over about 6 weeks worth of time, 7 weeks worth of time. And I literally stopped in my tracks and I was like, okay, what is going on here? What is going on here? Because I'm going to be dead in I don't know how many years if this keeps going the way it's been going, kind of thing. And for myself, I was literally told, the divine came through and basically told me there's other things that you need to be doing, and we would love for you to shift your focus. And I wanted to share that story because I wanted people to realize that it's not necessarily the breakup of a relationship with somebody else. It's a realization of the relationship that you're having with yourself. And so I started to look at my limiting beliefs. I started to look at my expectations. I started to look at things like, I believe you, you may have said something along the lines of, I didn't know what to do with that. And that's so important, is when we start to recognize that moment and grow from there.
And also, I mean, we all know how deep we can sink, how we are caught in this spiral of, it starts with negative thoughts. And if you don't get out of it, it just really drags you down. And it's like, how can I get out of this? So that moment, maybe you want to make write it out saying, life is not happening to you, life is happening for you. Now, no matter how shitty your circumstances might look right now, if you start looking into it, okay, if life is happening for me and not to me is like I'm a victim, right? But for me, okay, I'm the creatrix. What am I going to do out of this? What am I not getting? What's the questions I should ask to find out, why is this happening? Why is that happening? What in the hell? I don't get it, right? So the moment, and it's all about also allowing yourself to daily, best is daily, gifting yourself with a little time out of 5 or 10 minutes or even longer if you can, to just sit with yourself. Even if you're the biggest mess on the planet Earth, sit with yourself. Then if you want to scream and cry and I don't know, go and destroy old or go into a dollar store or whatever, thrift store, and buy old dishes, and just, that feeling of destroy something can be healing. There we have the goddess Kali coming through. If you have ever heard the gods out from India, they have so many different gods. And Kali is the goddess of distraction, but new birth, right? Sometimes you have to destroy something to realize, oh, but that power, that energy that can destroy, I can actually channel to start something new, right? Or channel this energy to my own healing, right? But you cannot have these processes happening if you're living a stressed life, if you're constantly on the highway of your life, right? And constantly overspeeding. You need this 5 to 10 or more minutes to sit down with yourself. And even though it's uncomfortable, and what I think it's very helping is journaling. Just let it out, write it all out, right? And let it sit. But then it's at least out of your chest, out of your brain. And if you let it write without your brain really correcting things, you also give an impulse to universe to help you find a solution to that, what you just wrote, right? So that's the first step for somebody who maybe is new to, I don't know how to start the process to work with myself, right? So that is a very easy first step. Write it out, let it sit, and the heartfelt, how shall I say, the heartfelt, what's the word? Desire to find a solution for your own well-being, because once you are feeling fabulous, like my slogan is blossom into your awesome, right? When you are in that stage to blossom into your super awesomeness, your whole family thrives, right? Because you're the source, you're the center of your house as a mother. If you're not a mother, if you're still a person, doesn't matter. You're the center still of your house, right? Of even your pets thrive when you are in your power, right? So putting out this desire, and with gratitude and a heartfelt desire up to spirit, no matter what you're believing, please guide me, help me. I need some insights, I need some aha moments, however you want to express it, right? So having this gratitude and the heartfelt desire and this commitment to give to yourself, to sit down every day 5 to 10 minutes, then you will realize within a week, probably, if you compare yourself from now with a week ago, if you have been keeping doing that, things have shifted, things are starting to move, something is happening, it's almost magical, right? And if you want to call in your very own dragon, wherever and however, and even if you're new to this, if you're open to receive the high frequency, I'm being guided to mention that, because there is so much out there that is low frequency, right? You really want to call in the high frequency, the healing frequency, the love frequency, right?
Yeah. Wow. I love that, because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, what message is the dragon got? And I love that. You just literally brought it home beautifully there with the frequencies. That's something that I love to do, is if you are experiencing life and you are like in that moment, like Tamoah said, stop for 5 or 10 minutes. Even in that moment, if you consciously feel, is feel the right word? You can consciously make the decision or intention to raise your frequency. It truly is as simple as that. Just like connecting with dragons, working with dragons. Yes, it is simple. Yes, there are some ceremonies and et cetera, et cetera. However, we start simple always, because that's just how it's done. I guess I want to say that's just how it's done. Is it's in the simplicity of things, right? Yeah.
I love what is simple. Nothing worse than anything complicated. I'm like, what? Why? Why should I go into something complicated if it can be simple, right? So if it feels complicated to you, don't do it.
That's right.
Right?
Right. Or change how it's done. Have a belief in yourself, man. I developed a process that I caught somebody online doing it. They said it took 2 weeks, and you couldn't actually do it in this instance because da 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 da. You just couldn't do it with a physical hand. And I thought to myself, well, that's not accurate. That's a limiting belief. I'm going to do it in one sitting in 45 minutes, and I can reach in energetically. And boom. Right?
I mean, the moment that you are present, right? Which is not easy to be present constantly. We're all drifting off thinking this and blah, blah, right? Oh, again, I said blah, blah. I should look into that.
Yada, yada, yada.
So, but the moment that we are not constantly present, latest, the trigger point should be, I feel shit, I feel low, I feel however. That should be a trigger saying, oh, okay, that's the moment. I should look into it and invite the lightness to come in and help myself shifting back into the present moment and put my feelers out, think, okay, what's going on? What is really going on? Not superficially, but what's really going on, right? And the more you do that, the more you can help yourself to be present more often in the moment. I mean, no master has fallen from the sky normally. Exceptions happen, right? But it's just like a sport that you got to train, you got to do your workouts to get better and better, to train the muscles and the nervous system and all of this. That's the same with this, right? The more you put your focus to it, the more it starts to get normal. Just the daily normal habit, right? And sometimes people are so different. Some people need to have a note written somewhere to see it. It's, oh, yeah. Somebody else needs to have a reminder in the phone that goes off like an alarm clock. Oh, yeah. Just find out your way, right? You can also go the long way, the miserable way, to suffer God knows for how long, till you finally decide, I had enough. I so had enough. Now I really, really want to put priority to myself. Now, not in an egoistic way, of course, right? But with the realization that it all starts with us. If we are miserable and a negative, it's not helping anyone. Not you, not your kids, not your pets, not your co-workers, nobody. All the contrary.
Yeah. Be the ripple. Be the ripple. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your website, if you don't mind.
You just broke up. Tell me, what about my website?
Oh, that's too funny. I said that the mic was doing that, didn't I? I asked you to share a little bit about your website.
My website. Okay. I'm a person who loves to explain a lot. So if you go on my website, you will see I'm explaining many things, right? Maybe, I don't know, I'll let it sit like this for a while. Maybe I have the feeling one day I'm just gonna delete half of it. I don't know. For now, I'm explaining about the Akashic records, what it is, and all the different possibilities. I also soul retrieval, what it is and what happens. Our soul is made out of so many particles, and each time we go into a shock or traumatic situation, we're losing a part. And I'm also explaining about remote healings, I call it metaphysical healings, because some call it energy medicine, some call it quantum healing, and so forth. So I like the word metaphysical. That's just, for me, the realm where everything is possible. Then, of course, I have a little story about myself. My husband told me that's way too much information. But I'm like, hey, those who are not interested in me, they will not read it anyway. And what else? Then I have my events page where I offer once a month, and I have all the dates in there, a free Akashic healing. That means that if you will get in touch with me, I will send you out the Zoom link. And on that date that it's mentioned on that page, we come together, and it always depends who is there, right? Depending on the audience, I tune in. I am connected with my Akashic records, and of course my team, which is huge, humongous team of all the helpers that I have. Like I said, the dragons not only, but many others. And whoever is there, whatever is needed in that moment, I'll guide them through a healing journey. And it's usually like a half an hour. And I just love it. I never know what comes through, right? And each time I'm like, wow. It's, again, I should write this down. It's just so spot on, right? And also other events are mentioned there. And go and have a look, browse around, get in touch if you have questions, and sign up if you want to have a treatment with me, right?
Beautiful. I love that. I have one final question for you. Let me just see how this wants to be worded. My thing, I guess, is currently really energetically in the inner dragon energy. And inner dragon is the action taker, while the inner child, the little you, is the protector. And when the protector, the inner child, begins to love itself and flourish, it unleashes that inner dragon in a way that is extremely powerful. And if your inner dragon was completely unleashed, what would that mean for you? What would you want to experience in the world?
I don't think I have any wishes, because I always live in a way that I can fulfill what my inner I travel. I mean, I have a travel virus, so I need to travel. Otherwise, I'm fucking miserable. Excuse the F word, but it's just the state of being. Then during the big C times when I couldn't travel, I realized it does something to me. Seriously, seriously, not nice. And then I realized how important it is for me to be out and about, planet wise, right? And what also happened naturally throughout my own evolution, right, is that wherever I go and I feel Mother Earth needs healing, or there is a land that some trauma happened, it just naturally kicks in. I don't even, how shall I say that? I don't have to put the attention to it. I can be somewhere and I feel like, oh, okay, we are there. Okay, let's give healing. Now, that can be, like I said, land wise, it can be nature wise, it can be animal wise, it can be human wise, right? So, for me, traveling and having that backpack with me, which is now in these terms a good backpack, right? It just gives me such a good vibe. I don't know how to explain it, right? So, and even if I do not travel, I can still sit here in my office and do that. When I hear of anything, I can set my team and help them, ask them to help. And yeah, I mean, a thing that we need on this planet definitely is peace. And then I always tell everybody, okay, if the world needs peace, how about my own inner peace? And again, we come to ourselves to work on ourselves. And the word work sounds like, oh, that's like, so if you want to change that word to a word that you like better, right? Because you do it for yourself, and then it gives a ripple effect throughout the whole planet, the whole universe, right? And I always say, the moment that you feel that you have this inner joy that comes up, and you can put this joy out into the world. Like on my website, on the very first is very on the homepage, I explained it. I went into the Akashic records and asked, what is it that this planet needs right now? So it was shine, laughter, right? Liberate from heavy stuff and shine your light. And I'm like, wow, yeah, if you look globally, that's exactly what's so needed. So, and there's so many ways to achieve this, right? So many ways. I mean, for the one, it's going jogging every day for an hour, because that's what that happens in a person. Another one needs to meditate. Another one needs to go swimming. Another one needs to go gardening, eat healthy, whatever it is. It's so individual, right? But when this came through for me, I thought, yeah, okay, I am a transformational. I don't like the word expert, because for an expert sometimes is narrow-minded, but that's not the meaning that I have here. It's just liberate from old stuff, from heavy stuff. We all went through traumatic experiences in our lives, and it's never too late to finally look into it and let it go. And then we come into the inner child work, of course, which comes in automatically. And the one thing that I forgot to mention before with my website is the one thing, the inner radiance journey, where if you really know you really want to go deep and you really want to iron out or clean out thoroughly your baggage that you brought along, not only from this life, but also from, I don't want to say past lives, because it's parallel lives, right? That's a month program or 3 months program or a 1 year program, where we really we go into every aspect. We go into, I call it a construction site, and we start renovate this construction site, or we build this most beautiful construction site that there is nothing anymore that weighs you down. We really are going into your subconscious level and just check it all out. So and it's for me also such a rewarding work, which I don't feel like work, because it's really that slogan that I have, blossom into your awesome. It's so beautiful for me to watch people blossoming up, and all of a sudden certain issues are no longer, or they can prove their doctors wrong. They told them you got to live with this for the rest of your life or you're going to die. Well, everything is very individual, right? I just think it's so beautiful, and filling my heart with so much gratitude. And when like my whole team cannot wait to help, right? But people need to ask for help. It's nobody comes and throws it upon them, right? You need to have the intention. I realize I need somebody to help me out of this mud, right? And there's so many people out there that can do that, but it's your first step to realize first, I think I'm stuck in the mud. Second step, I want to get out of this mud. Third step, let's find somebody who can help me out of this mud. Fourth step, realizing it's a help, right? I'm healing myself at the end of the day. And it's just so beautiful. I cannot even express this feeling, how also the spirit world feels when people wake up and blossom into their awesome, right?
I can so relate. Thank you so very, very much, Tamoah. I have just been in awe of this conversation. The things that you've been saying, your terminology, um, your I want to say your new way of thinking, and I think it's new because it's words that I haven't heard used in these instances, and I love that. All right, now I'm unlocking my own potential as just as many of us are, and with your wording, with your inspiration, with the words that you're saying here, and I know it's a lot of it is free flow channeled in essence. It's not like I sat down and wrote a script kind of thing, but it's just coming through you, and it's from the heart. I could feel the energy of that. I could feel the frequency of that. Thank you so much. And it's 55:55 when I said that.
I was born 5:55. The 5 is around.
It is. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Sandra, so much.